Hey, are you still billing as an independent consultant by the hour at some fixed rate that you've got for that hour of work? Well, you're leaving money on the table, and most importantly, I think your client might be getting screwed. There's a way to fix all of that so that you both win. Hang around. We're going to talk about that. Hi, my name is Bernd Hollyman. I'm the consultant's coach, and I help independent consultants be more successful by providing them with coaching, online learning, tools, tips, and techniques. If you're new to this channel, please hit subscribe and hit like if you like the video at the end. And there's some resources in the area below. Hit more, and they're down there. Okay? One of the things that drives me crazy, and I understand it because I started out that way, is that 70% of all consultants bill on an hourly basis, an hourly fee basis, just like doctors, lawyers, accountants, and so forth. Even my motorcycle mechanic charges by the hour. And that's kind of a no-win situation if you want to expand your business. And what I'd like to do is briefly talk about that and how you can fix it and how ultimately your client will care, because that's what this is all about. So guess what? And you know this. I know you know this. I know you know this. Clients only care about one thing, and that's results. There's nothing else. They don't care about your methodology. That's just a means to an end to getting them their results. And that's the thing you have to remind yourself of. And that is really the value of value billing. It's looking at a results delivery approach to getting your fees paid. Typically, when you put a proposal into a client, you quote them X amount of work and you say, we estimate this will take from A number of hours to B number of hours. It'll take us 50 to 70 hours to get this work done, or whatever it is. And that number that gets multiplied out by the hourly rate, let's say it's $100,000, is the number that the client keeps in their head. It's fixed price as far as they're concerned. They know it isn't. They know you're billing by the hour. And they also know that, because of the hourly rate, if things get complicated, you could go over that rate and their bill would be higher. But I'll tell you, after doing this for decades, I've never met a client that hasn't regarded going over that number really blowing the engagement or the project. So in the end, you're really giving them a fixed price proposal with your hourly rate. Let's jump into why doing fixed hourly rates isn't helping you, and it's certainly not helping your clients. Now, let's start with you, okay? So it's you as an independent consultant working alone, and we'll just use that as our use case here. You've got an inventory of 1,800 hours per year, and I'm going to pick an insanely low number of billing at $150 an hour. Well, at 1,800 hours a year of, if you will, consulting inventory, that's $270,000 you can make max for the year. Now, knock 20% off of that, and you end up with 80% of inventory, and that's only 1,440 hours that you've got after you knock off that 20% for administration, marketing, and so forth. And that leaves you with a mass total of $216,000 for the year at $150 an hour. Obviously, you can change all the rates, and these numbers go up, and they can go way up. But the issue is relative to what? And the thing you're always constrained by with billing rates is your total inventory per year. Okay, I'm going to take a breath to remind you to hit like and subscribe if this is going well for you so far. Back to the race. So what are the pros and cons of hourly billing rates? Well, the pros are for the consultant that in theory, if you work more hours than the project takes, you get paid for it, right? It de-risks it for the consultant. The client doesn't help them at all. Doesn't get them any closer to results, does it? You're just billing them based on activity, not results. And that's all they see is the bills keep coming in. Where are my results? The other problem is, aside from the constraint to inventory, is you're underpaying yourself because you're probably delivering a heck of a lot of value and they're not paying enough for it. And if you put the right value proposition together, they're going to pay you for it. And that's how you have to set up all of your sales efforts when you go in. And that's called value billing. Let's take some examples. Let's say you've got a project with your client and they want $10 million of operating expense reduced by whatever you think makes sense, or their particular target. So there's 10 million of expense. Let's say you reduce it 10%. That would be $1 million, right? Well, that's enormous value. How much would they pay for that, right? A lot, because that's a recurring saving. That's $1 million in 1 year. Over 5 years, that's 5 million. And your fees for that, if you charge by the hour, are going to be pretty low relative to the huge payback that you're providing them with in terms of value. Get the concept? Of course you do. I knew that you would. So let's look at that example. If you save them 1 million a year, what if you took, let's say, 20% of that? That would be $200,000. And let's say you did it in 3 months. Now, let's look at the fixed hourly based rate approach to this same situation. You got $1 million worth of savings, you spend the same 3 months, and you bill them $150 an hour, and you end up basically billing them $72,000 for the project, as opposed to the $200,000 that you billed them. Same amount of time, same amount of effort, and you can do the project 2 or 3 times a year and make not just the 200, but the 400 or 600,000 a year if you value bill. Now, that's just an example of how value billing helps you. But more importantly, when the day is over, that client gets that $1 million of savings minus the first year 20% fee to you of $200,000. So we're getting $4.8 million over 5 years of savings. That's huge value. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? You can go do this engagement 2 or 3 times a year in theory, and you can make at least 2 to 3 times what you're making under an hourly rate scheme. The key to doing this is in the selling process. You should never talk hourly rates. You should only talk about value in terms of value that they're going to get. That's what they want to know. How much is it going to cost? What's the value I'm going to get out of it? And when am I going to get it? Well, billing on time doesn't answer any of those questions, really, if you think about it. And that's got to be your complete focus. So that's what the whole value proposition sales cycle is all about. Providing that business case to them to convince them that you've got a solution that's really worth paying for, even at that value billing number, which is higher than an hourly rate. So I'm going to do a different video on how to build value propositions. And the expense savings one is one of the classic areas where you can leverage this value billing technique. But what do I do if it's a marketing campaign? What do I do if it's something having to do with human resources and advising them on a plan? Well, there are a lot of different ways you can value bill for those as well, and we'll get into those in other videos. But I just wanted you to start thinking about putting a single number, since you're going to do that anywhere, the client's going to perceive it that way with a fixed hourly billing rate, putting a fixed number on a project based on value, not based on the amount of time it will take, based on your hourly rate. Stop being like all the rest. You're a one-person band, or you have a couple of people you work with as an independent consultant. And this is how very successful independent consultants make a lot of money. If any of this is useful, please hit like and subscribe. You know the drill. We're trying to get this channel started, and really, really appreciate it. So that's it for today. As I always say, buy the ticket, take the ride. See you on the other side.